Hello, this is Dan Miller for Bluegrass Unlimited magazine, and today is another in the series of our bass runs for guitar. The first few, we learned how to walk up the scale, A scale, to the root note of the next chord that we're moving to. Then we changed some timing of those things, and then we learned how to walk down the scale in a descending line going to the root note of the next chord. And today, this will be a short video, but I'm going to just show you how to combine a little move that first walks down and then goes above to come back. So you're going on both sides of your root note to get to it, and of course what's going to lead to it at the very end is that leading tone that we talked about in the first video. So what it's going to be is I'm going to be playing, say in the G chord, and I want to go to C. I'm going to go to the third note of the C scale, then go to the leading tone of the C scale, and then go into the root note of the C. So of the chord you're moving to, go to the third, second, and then seventh, right? So I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I'll show you. So if we're going from G to C, we're going to go from our G chord, then we're going to go to the E note, which is the third of the C scale relative to C. It's a third note. Then we're going to go to the D, which is the second, and then instead of going to the C from there, we're going to go to the 7th scale degree B of the C scale before we go to the C. So it's going to be relative to the new chord, it's going to be 3, 2, 7, 1. Okay? So it sounds like this. Okay, so I'm in G. E, D, B, C, and relative to the C chord, it's the third, second, 7, and then 1. So you just get used to that sound. If you're just using what Tim May calls shapes and ears, you don't need to know numbers, you don't need to know letters, you don't need to know anything. Just the shapes and ears of it is. Use that sound. So it's okay, so that's moving from G to C. Moving from C to D, okay, the third in D is F sharp, the second is E, and then C sharp is the 7th. So we're going to go. You can hear that same again, that's that same relative sound that we did from going from G to C. We have that same thing going from C to D. Okay, so that's moving C to D. Now moving D to G, once again, same relative notes relative to our new chord. The 3 is the B, the 2 is the A, and the 7 is the F sharp. So it'll be, again, we're moving the same relative note selection, moving from one chord to the next, so it should, to your ears, sound the same. And it's going to be the same if we're moving from D to C, it's the same idea. Same move. That E, D, B, C, whether you're moving from a D chord or from a G chord, you do the same thing. And the other thing, moving from C, same thing, moving from C to G, the same thing, same relative notes relative to the G scale. So that's the same moving from D or C. It's got a little bit different texture to it because of where you're coming from beforehand, but it's the same note selection. So there you go. I mean, that's all I have for you today. Work with all of the ones we've done in the previous videos. Work with these, moving from all these chords using the same pattern, and then see if you can go through G, C, D progression of whatever song you're working with, whether it's going G to C to D, or G to C, back to G to D, you know, whatever song you're working with that's a 1-4-5 progression in G. Work these changes, the ones I just showed you that alternate between descending and ascending into the note, and then mix it up with the ones we've done in the past. That's the idea here. Get used to each one all in and of its own, the pattern. Get used to using that one pattern between every chord, and then next time through change to a different pattern every time you change a chord. Ascend one time, descend another time, change the timing sometimes, change to this descending, ascending, you know, going both sides of the target note idea, and start to mix those all together. And if you do that, not only will you gain a feel and an intuition for when these things can work best in whatever song you're working with, but also it's my belief, and this is why in the course that Tim May and I designed called the Flat Picking Guitar, the Essentials of Flat Picking, we started the whole course in Volume 1 with bass runs. And then in Volume 2, we went from bass runs to Carter style lead playing. Because in Carter style lead playing, you're basically replacing these bass notes with melody notes. And so it's a real smooth, if you get really good at playing bass notes and bass note runs, the various kinds I've been showing you here, if you get very good at that, playing rhythm, the next step into playing Carter style leads is very smooth transition. It's very easy because it's basically doing the same thing. Instead of your choice of bass notes in a bass run kind of format, you're going to be doing the same thing with your right hand where you're playing single notes and strums, but your bass notes will be replaced with melody notes. And that's basically how the Mayville Carter style is designed. And so moving from playing good rhythm into lead playing in the Carter style is an easy transition if you get really good with your bass note runs. So that's another advantageous reason to practice a lot of these different bass walks and bass runs and bass movements along with your strums. Great for rhythm, good to transition into a lead style as well. So practice that, and for now that's all I have for you, and we'll see you next time. This is Dan Miller for Bluegrass Unlimited Magazine.